Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Aida Cintamtari from class 5 TP1. I will explain about a morphology in Sumbawa language, especially a comparative analysis of inflection, derivation, and affixation. The first one is inflectional morphology. In Sumbawa language, affixation based on grammatical marking. It used to mark person and number, possession, and tense and mood. In person and number, prefix ku it mark the first person singular. For example, in the word ku pukil, it means I hit. And prefix tu it mark the second person plural. It means in the word tu pukil, it means we hit. And then possession. Suffixes indicate possession in Sumbawa language. Suffix ku in the word baleku, it means my house. And suffix mu in the word balemu, it means your house. And suffix nya in the word balenya, it means his or her house. And then it marks tense and mood. For example, in the prefix ka, it marks a past. For example, in the word ka datang, it means came or already came. Tense ya, it marks for future. For example, in the word ya beli, it means will buy. And there's also imperative mood, use ma or mu. And here is the example of inflection in Sumbawa language. There is kupukil, mupukil, tupukil, baliku, kadatang, ya beli. The next is derivational morphology. It's creating new words and meaning. There's adjective formation. For example, prefix ba forms an adjective meaning, having or being in a state. For example, in the word balukit, lukit means skin, and if we add the prefix ba, it means it changed the meaning, became having a skin. And there's also prefix ra indicates possession. There's example ra bulu. Bulu it means hair, but if we add a prefix ra, it become a new meaning, which is hairy. And then causative and intensive. Sa is causative. Prefix sa it changes the meaning. For example, in the word samati, mate means die, but if we add the prefix sa, it become to kill. And then prefix re marks repetitive action. For example, in the word rebawa, bawa it means to bring, but if we add the prefix re, it become carry or bring repeatedly. And the next noun derivation, prefix pa derives agent nouns. In the word pamangan, mangan it means eat, but if we add the prefix pa, it becomes food or things to eat. And the next prefix pe forms abstract noun from adjective. For example, in the words pebalong, balong it means good, but if we add the prefix pe, it means goodness. The next is the example of derivational in Sumbawa language. Lukit means skin, but we add the prefix ba, it means having skin. Die, mati, it means die. Add the prefix sa, it means to kill. And then bawa, it means carry, but if we add the prefix re, it becomes carry repeatedly. Then mangan, it means eat, but we add the prefix pa, it means food or things to eat. And then rebu, it means grass, but if we add the prefix ma, it becomes to weed the grass. And then balong means good, but if we add the prefix pe, it means goodness. The next, affixation, which is the core of Sumbawa morphology. Affixation is the central to Sumbawa with prefixes dominating both derivational and inflectional function, while suffixes primarily handle inflection. In Sumbawa language, derivational prefixes like ba, ra, sa, re, pa, it forms adjective, causative verbs, intensive verbs, and agentive nouns. It has the same example like before, which is pamangan. It means pa for adjective, and then samate, sa for causation. And then inflectional suffixes. Suffix ku, mu, and na serve inflectional purpose, specifically marking possession. For example, baleku or tasku, it means my house or my bed. Then kadatang, use ka as a past marker. The next, compounding in Sumbawa language. Combining free morphemes. For example, there's 3 types. The first one is modifier head pattern. Compounds often follow a descriptive pattern. It combines 2 words. For example, the words lawang and bale, it becomes door house. And next is bale batu. Bale, it means house, and batu, it means stone, and it becomes stone house. The next, semantic transparency. Meaning is usually literal, maintaining clear relationship between components, unlike idiomatic English compounds. Next, component types. Mostly noun-noun combination, but also noun numeral. For example, the combination of words balu, which means 8, and anak, it means children. And if we combine it, it becomes balu anak, 8 children. And there's also a combination of adjective plus noun. For example, in the word rango, which means big, and the word bale, which means house, and we combine it to become rango bale, or big house. Compounding in Sumbawa language is a productive and semantically transparent process, emphasizing the straightforward descriptive nature of the language. And in Sumbawa language, there's also a borrowing words. Sumbawa's lexicon reflects historical and cultural contact with other languages. In Sumbawa language, there's a word borrowing from Indonesian, Dutch, Arabic, and Sanskerta. For example, the words lemari, it has the same form with Indonesian language, and meja, sekolah, roda, and like the others. And then domains of influence. Domestic life, lemari, which means cupboard, sabun, which means soap. Then education, in Sumbawa language, sekolah, we call it sekolah, and buku is buku. Trade or daily life, like kopi, in English we call it coffee, and in Indonesia we still call it kopi. The next, the comparison between Sumbawa and English morphology. Both languages use morphology to create meaning, but their mechanisms differ significantly. In Sumbawa language, prefixation preference, prefixes such as ma, pa, ba, and ra often creates new meanings or change word classes, showing strong derivational morphology. In English, there's inflection and derivational. English uses inflection mainly through suffixes to mark tense. Walk became walked, and in plural, cat became cats, and comparison, tall became taller, and then derivation forms new words through both prefixes and suffixes, such as unhappy, prefix an, and teacher, suffix er. And in Sumbawa language, suffixes such as ku, mu, and na showing possession. In Sumbawa language, heavy reliance on prefixation and agglutination. Prefixes often carry both derivational, ma turns noun to verb, and inflectional meaning. And in English language, less complex affixation, relying more on suffixation and internal change. For example, sing becomes sang. Clearly, distinction between derivational and inflectional morphemes. And the next is challenges in doing analysis of morphological in Sumbawa language. Analyzing the Sumbawa language presents unique difficulties due to the first one is limited resources. Not like English, Sumbawa language lack of detailed linguistic documentation and inconsistent spelling across source made verifying affixes difficult. The next is affix function ambiguity. Difficulty in verifying in affixes ma, pa, and ra were purely derivational or also carried inflectional meaning depending on the context. And the last is translational nuance. struggling to translate local words without oversimplifying or losing the cultural and grammatical nuances tied to the local environment. The analysis of morphology in Sumbawa language, it required deep understanding to explain how Sumbawa processes differ from similar English derivational processes. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention.